Nothing felt certain, not the treatments, not even my own thoughts. I tried staying calm. If you've ever felt like your world flipped upside down and you couldn't catch your breath, this video is for you. After I received a diagnosis of breast cancer, everything felt like a question mark. My schedule, my body, my future. Nothing felt solid. In fact, I was pretty sure that was the plan. The universe was throwing all my cards up in the air, and I knew that nothing was going to come down looking the same way they had looked before. So the anxiety that spirals with appointments and scams and what ifs, it's real. And I was very aware of where my thoughts were going. So I had trained myself to nip panic in the bud. So the idea of staying positive and holding it all together seemed like a good idea at the time. And I thought I was doing a really good job of it. But as soon as everything was all over, I got super sick. And I knew it was because I was emotionally shut down when I should have been feeling and honoring my emotions. And that's the one part that if I had a do-over, I would do completely different, because I did this whole stoic thing and just decided that I was going to look calm and centered and confident, and like I knew exactly what I was doing, and I had this all planned out so that I could make everyone around me feel better about the diagnosis. Like that was my job, was to make everyone else feel better about the diagnosis. And you'd be amazed how often I would talk to someone and they would say, "Oh, I was feeling so bad, or I was so nervous, or I was so worried, but now that I've talked to you, I feel so much better." So it was like I was their shoulder to cry on. I was their sounding board. And it was a weird thing, but I kind of had set myself up for that by looking like everything was fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, folks. That's not a good way to go through this, because literally when it was all over, within 24 to 48 hours, I crashed, and I crashed hard. I was so sick. I thought I had malaria. I had just come back from 3.5 weeks in China about a month before that. And that was the only thing I could think of. It didn't even dawn on me that it was me repressing these emotions, these feelings, and being happy for everybody. But then I realized, oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't grieve the diagnosis. I was like, no big deal. I can power through this. I'll just do this, take it head on. I'll figure it out. I'll do what I need to do. And then we're done here. To a large extent, that worked very well, but there was an emotional toll for that, and it was taken by my body. Once I signaled to my body, okay, we're done, this is over, we can relax now, then it was like, well, you go ahead and relax, but we're like got a whole bunch of shit to deal with right now. So my mind, my soul, my body, they all went, time out, lady. We got some talking to do here. And so I crashed. I was like so sick for 3 weeks. And I had just moved from Cabo back to the US literally a few days before that. Went to an empty house that I had to furnish fully. once I got there. And I was just starting to do that, and I crashed. So it wasn't malaria. It was undealt with grief. And my body just let it all out. Everything that I had been pushing down from the last several months just came flooding in. And it was a lot. I wouldn't recommend denying your feelings. It is an absolutely unhealthy thing to do in any situation. But in this situation, it's super important that to get to that place of calm, that it's real, that it's grounded, that it's aligned and congruent from your soul to your body to your mind, all the way up and down. Everybody is on the same page. So what your body, your mind, and your soul are looking for during this time is safety. They need to get a signal that it's okay. You can go ahead and do what you need to do right now because you're safe. Everything else is good and it's running smoothly. You go take care of what you need to take care of. So the cells that need to focus on getting rid of the cancer cells can do that. They aren't all messed up with cortisol, with stress hormones, with your vagus nerve all out of whack, telling your nervous system that we are on high alert. That's the opposite of what you want if healing is your agenda. So getting to that place of real calm is something that you need to figure it out. And the sooner you figure it out and the better you figure it out, the easier things are going to be. I've mentioned this before, but there are several things that I did as far as my practice. And I had already been a long-term meditator and a student of A Course in Miracles, which I did daily reading and lessons and all kinds of other reading. I had been studying nutrition, mind-body connection, health, healing, personal growth, spirituality, all of that for 20 years before this happened. So I had a big library and a wealth of knowledge to tap into, and that was very helpful. There's some simple things that you can do, like breath work. There are lots of different breathing techniques, box breathing that I talked about in the video on trusting your body again. Box breathing is just breathing for 4 count. In and then holding for 4, then out for 4, then holding for 4. And you can do 4 of those in a little over a minute because it's 16 seconds each. Each 1, 2, 3, 4 should be a second. So that's 16 seconds for each one total. And that, because you're focused on it, you're counting, you're slowing your breathing, it's a good signal to your vagus nerve. I'm safe. Everything's fine. Look at, I'm breathing slowly. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So that's one thing that I would recommend doing. There are many breathwork practices, and I would say do ones that are calming. One that I really like doing is where you count as you're breathing in, and then as you're breathing out, breathe out for 1 more beat, then you breathe in. And then on your next breath in, breathe in for that amount, 1 more on the way. So each circuit of breathing in and out, you're breathing for 1 more beat, which means you're opening up even deeper to let that breath in. And you're also slowing your breathing that much. So if you start at 4, you might make it to 8. You might make it to 12. In a few days, you might make it to 15. If you get to 20, now you're only taking 3 long, full breaths per minute. And that is an excellent thing to do for your body, to do for your nervous system. It is really calming and is also building your lung capacity. Another thing is to just close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, and just take one calming breath. Doesn't even have to be a really long one, but connecting your breath with your hands and your heart is so centering and grounding. And you can do that at any point in your day. And if you're somewhere that you can't close your eyes and do it, you can always just with one hand take one breath in and do that. Nobody's even going to notice. You can do that 80 times a day. And every time you do, it's just another signal to your body. It's okay. It's okay. We're safe. It's fine. Go back and do the work you have to do. I'm looking out for you. So remember, it's important to be on the team, body, mind, and soul. So these are such small steps, but practiced consistently, they will really help. And then if you add in the fact that you're taking out alcohol from your diet, you're taking out caffeine maybe from your diet, making lifestyle changes that could also be raising your stress level. Those are things that will contribute to being calm. So it's not just about meditating or doing yoga or spending time in nature or doing affirmations, which, if done correctly, are very effective. But you have to do them correctly. So that's another thing that we can talk about on another video if you'd like. The thing is, I stopped trying to control everything and I started to work with my body by aligning my mindset, my beliefs, and my language in a way that supported my body and also honored the healing work that it was doing. And there's a big difference between building emotional safety and coping. Coping is what I did in a very exaggerated way because I'm a Taurus, so I'm a little bull. I put my head down and my little horns and I just power through. And in this situation, that's not a healthy thing to do. I needed to be more like my Pisces moon. That's basically all I know about astrology, really. But be calm, be water, be tranquil. You know that even I live on the ocean, so I see it all day long. Even when there's white caps, even if there's a hurricane out there, and I'm watching these huge waves roll in and they're crashing and spray is going up. Underneath, if you go down far enough, the water underneath is calm. And that's what we need to do. So whatever crap is going on at the surface level and things are crashing and waves are rolling in and everything else, just close your eyes or take a walk and you can really feel like there's something pulling from your head, pulling the energy down into where you're seated, pulling that energy and grounding you and centering you. And then it's easy to sink below the surface where all these thoughts are going like this. You're never going to get to the point where there's no talking going on in your head, but you pay less and less attention to it. And one way of doing that is to say to yourself, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And just in your head, say that as you're taking the breath in and taking the breath out. Because you can't be thinking about all this other stuff if you're focused on the breath and on telling yourself that you're breathing in, you're breathing out, you're breathing in, you're breathing out. And before you know it, you're feeling so much calmer, even if you just do it for 30 seconds. It really doesn't take much. And then you're no longer coping, you're building emotional safety for your body. And the calm is real. So if you're holding your breath, waiting for certainty, I hope that this helps you to exhale, that there are some easy, simple things you can do, that you create your own safety. You create that calm, grounded, peaceful, centered, aligned, congruent place in the midst of everything. You can have that every single day. Maybe not all day, every day, but at some point every day, you can get to that place. And the more you do it, the more frequently it will happen. The more frequently it happens, the more naturally it will happen. And pretty soon, that will be your state more often than not. And it really doesn't take that long. So, is there a phrase or a mantra that brings you peace during tough moments? For me, it's all is well. All is well. I'd love to hear what yours is, so please share that so that you can get some new ideas from what other people share as well. But all is well is 3 words, and it's such a strong signal to your body. And it reminds you that in the scheme of things, all is well. This is a bump in the road. It may feel like a huge mountain right now, may feel like Mount Everest, and that you can't scale it. You don't have the tools. You don't know how to do it. No one ever told you to prepare for this. But I'm telling you, when you're on the other side looking back and you're like, I did it. I made it through. And I made it happen because I aligned my mind, body, and soul, my emotions, my beliefs, and my language through this whole process empowered me to make the decisions I needed to make, and also gave me the serenity, the safety, the calm to not be overwhelmed, to not live in fear, to not be scattered, to be focused and be aligned. So I would love to hear what phrase or mantra calls to you. And if this gave you even 1 minute of calm, please hit that like button. It truly helps. And I would love to be able to reach more women. And if you're still struggling to trust your body after everything that you've been through, next I'll share how I rebuilt that connection, one gentle step